Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Very interesting article, and it has to do with DeSantis in Florida, transgenders and puberty blockers. Now this article comes from National Review and it's from October 29th, 2022. This is the title. Florida moves to ban puberty blockers and transgender surgery for minors. That is for children. The Florida Board of Medicine and State Board of Osteopathic Medicine have approved a plan to ban puberty blockers and sex reassignment surgery as treatments for transgender minors in the state. The validity of gender reassignment surgery and puberty blockers as treatment for gender dysphoria remains deeply contested. While a Columbia University study argues, for example, that gender-affirming care can improve the mental health and overall well-being of gender-diverse, transgender, non-binary children and adolescents, many argue the opposite. According to journalist Abigail Whatever, nearly 3/4 of kids typically outgrow gender dysphoria symptoms. Florida's decision comes in the wake of the United Kingdom closing its sole gender dysphoria clinic in Tavistock Centre, following an internal investigation found that the clinic pursued an unquestioning affirmative approach and pressured staff embrace a blind acceptance of such treatments. And I'm quoting, "The clinical approach has to be mindful of the risks of an inappropriate gender transition and the difficulties that the child may experience in returning to the original gender role upon entering puberty if the gender incongruence does not persist," the report states. The Florida Joint Medical Board will finalize the vote this coming week. Okay, well, let's start with the beginning. You have a child. A child is considered from 0 to 18, all right? Not that the age of 18 changes magically something in our brain or our physical appearance or anything like that. No. But you are considered in general being able to be kind of a finite human being, let's put it this way. Even though, according to studies, in general, the female's brain goes to a certain age and then it stops, developing. The man's brain supposedly goes to a different age. I'm not going to go into that because my goal is not to discuss that. My goal is to discuss the fact that there is a reason why, for instance, children are not allowed to vote. There is also a reason why children are not allowed to, smoke, drink, own guns, and have sex to the most part, if you know what I mean. Why I say most part? Because it's a certain age when you're at the age of consent. Now, why is that? It is because children do not have yet the ability in general to make decisions, good decisions, or how should I put it, fact-based decisions or evidence-based decisions or good decisions for reasons of knowledge, for reasons of biology, because their brains are not developed yet. So it's because of physiological limitations. It's not anything else. It's because, let's put it bluntly, well, you kind of don't know what you're talking about. All right? Now, they are allowed to pick between, an ice cream or a different ice cream because that would not, have a negative impact or an irreversible impact on the child's health. Now, the child is also allowed to dress in a certain way, or, even the child is not allowed to go to a party, a certain kind of party. And the parents are in charge because the parents, the adults, have the authority, and allegedly they know what they're talking about because they lived longer, they learned longer, their brains are already developed, so they're kind of like, if they make a bad decision, they can't blame the age anymore. Unless you're Biden and you're 1,000 years old and you're like, what? What happened again? So anyway, you know what I mean. So that's another reason why we don't allow them to carry guns and use guns until what? Even over 18, right? I think. But you can go into military if you're 18. So yeah, you can smoke until you're 21, but I think you can have a gun and 18 here, I think. I don't care because I was not involved in that. I think you can because you can go in the military. You can kill at 18, but you can't smoke at 18. Okay, that's good, right? And when I talk about kill, go in another country and kill other people under the military orders. So why would you let a child have the power to decide that he or she feels differently or something like this? Wouldn't have been God's decision? Somehow God made a mistake with you. I mean, if you take it from a religious point of view, which I know that's a weasel move in my part, but I will put that aside now and go back to I don't know, a different kind of take on this. But I will stick with science and I will stick with biology and physiology. Again, you do not know what you're talking about at that age, because when you're a baby, when you're a toddler, when you are a young teenager, you might think that, for instance, you are a fairy, or you might think you're Spider-Man. And if you're a Spider-Man, you might think you're something else. And then you can go and have certain kind of medical treatment. Remember, medical treatment, it's irreversible. And that's going to affect your life forever. And it's too early for you. The same with alcohol and cigarettes and drugs. Well, drugs I'm talking about anyway, they're illegal anyway. But with cigarettes, you want to screw your lungs, your choice. You want to drink alcohol, screw your liver and other things, your choice. When you are an adult, and supposedly you might have a better understanding of what are the consequences. As a child, you do not. That's not me saying that. You can look at, for instance, Piaget. Piaget is the psychologist that talked about age cognitive development in children. So you can check his stages of development. And by reading Piaget, you find out certain kind. That's the basic. You don't have to go even deeper to see the levels and stages of cognitive development in children, which means they can be able to plan ahead, they are able to think in a certain way and process information based on the ages, as gradually the brain develops is capable in general. So I don't think you're capable of really making your own decision in this kind of matter, which is very serious. So I think you should wait at least when you're 18, where supposedly you all of a sudden become enlightened and you can do whatever you want with you and yourself. Otherwise, I would consider child abuse if the parents do that, because I don't think the children know what they're talking about. And it's your duty as a parent to make sure the child doesn't harm himself or herself. And if they need medical attention, there are institutions that take care of that as well. And when they turn 18, they can pretend they are the fairy, or they pretend they're, Michael Jackson or Dracula or whatever they want. A horse, a dog, that's their choice to be whatever they want to be. Okay? That's my take on this. And I think Florida does a good thing by doing that. And if you want to have snip, go in another state and you have it done. Your choice. But then, I don't want to hear you crying when you made a mistake. We all make mistakes. The problem is your mistakes might be forever until you go and meet Jesus. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.